Today we're covering 8th grade, Chapter 3, Lesson 3, Slope and Similar Triangles. We've already talked about similar shapes. Now let's see how that affects similar triangles. Well, triangles that share the same slope, and a slope is the line that goes across the grid. So triangles that share the same slope on a coordinate plane are similar triangles. And this really should be right triangles. Right triangles that share the same slope. This constant rate of change is when the rate of change stays the same. And that is called the slope. So we have a triangle down here on a line. The line is the slope. And slope is rise over run, or the y over the x. So we're going to go down here to this triangle and we're going to count the rise. We're going to count how many spaces it takes to reach the line. Six spaces. That's the rise. And the run would be the x, so how many spaces to get to the right angle? 1, 2, 8. Six over 8, which of course simplifies to 3/4. But we want to make a similar triangle. So let's say if I multiply each number by 2, that would be 12/16. So I'm going to make a similar triangle. I'll start at the corner here. And I'm going to go, the rise was 12, the run was 16, so I'm going to go across 16. I think that's 16. And then I'm going to go, the rise was 12. Perfect. That is a similar triangle. We'll call it B. Let's make another one. What if we go across maybe 12? As long as I make a right angle, that should make a similar triangle. So let's see, is 9 over 12 similar to that? Would it also simplify to 3/4? Yes. So all of them have the same rise and run. All of them have the same slope. They're 3/4. They would all simplify to 3/4. We can also set up proportions using these similar triangles. So I'm going to label these X, Y, Z, M, N, and so I can set up some proportions. So the rise for triangle A would be y, z, over x, y, which should be similar to the rise on triangle B, M, N, and I have to list them in the same order. The right triangle was Y, and then B, the right triangle is M, so MN, and then for the run, that would be ZM. And you're going to be asked to do that today. Set up some proportions. So the rise over the run, and you just use the letters instead of the numbers. You can also use that proportion to find missing numbers. For example, let's say we didn't know what this triangle over here, what the measurements were. And let's call it C. So if I used a proportion, I know it's similar because it's on the same line to the first one. I can use a proportion to find its measurements if I just know at least one of them. So let's say I know the run was 12. I can solve the proportion. Remember, to solve in a proportion, we might try simplifying. And I can simplify 6 and 8 to 3/4. And then I think, what can I do to 4 to get to 12? Multiply by 3. So if I do that on top, I'd find the missing measure is 9. And I know it's 9 because we did count it earlier. So if you're able to set up the proportion, you can find missing measurements. Let's look at what you're supposed to be doing today. And I'm sorry, but you are going to have to actually write it on paper. And if you can't print, then you're going to have to draw the grids, because I have to see that you know how to plot these points. So number 1 says triangle EFG with vertices 1, 9, 1, 5, and 2, 5. So you're going to plot those points on the grid, and then plot those points. And if you have different colors, that would be wonderful. Then we can both see the 2 different triangles. So plot the points. That's what the instructions say. Graph each pair of similar triangles. The second part says you are supposed to write a proportion comparing the rise and run for each similar slope triangle. So you're going to use the letters and find what's the rise using letters over the run for both triangles. So I should see a proportion like that. And then you can plug in the numbers. Determine the numerical value. So then you plug in the numbers and tell me what that is. So first use letters, then use the numbers. Let's look at number 4. Maybe we can do that one as an example. So first we want to plot -6, 5. Then -6, 2. Then -2, +2. So that is the first triangle. The second triangle is -2, 2, -2, -4, and then +6, -4. So what? I didn't put that down there. Oops. Sorry, I didn't get this one correct. -2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is my second triangle. Now, it's very important to actually label all those dots. So this was F, this one is M, and this one's W, and this was D, and this was E. Once you do that, then you're able to set up the proportion. Rise over run. So for the first triangle, the red one, the rise is ED, and the run would be EF. And both times I started from the right angle corner. So for the next one, the rise is MF, and the run is MW. For the number I can use, since they're similar, I can use either one. So either count the little one or count the big one. The run was 4, the rise is 3. So there's an example. First the letters, then the number, and don't forget you have to plot the two triangles. And if possible, please use two different colors so that you can identify the two different triangles.